You know how it is when the weather gets cold, right? All you want to do is keep your cat super warm, safe, and cozy. So we crank up the heat, maybe toss him a few extra treats, and just let him snooze the day away. I mean, it feels like we're doing everything right, like we're protecting them. But what if I told you that some of those very loving habits might actually be causing some silent harm?
And yeah, that question can really stop you in your tracks. Is it possible that the things we do purely out of love could lead to some pretty serious unintended consequences? Things like chronic pain or even kidney strain? Let's dig in and find out.
And look, this isn't some rare, out there problem. We're talking about thousands of cats, every single winter, who are silently dealing with discomfort, even illness, all because we, their loving owners, are making a few totally innocent mistakes. But here's the good news, and it's really good news. Once you know what to look for, these things are surprisingly easy to fix.
All right, so let's jump into the first and maybe most common area where things go a little sideways: food and activity. I like to call this the comfort food myth.
I mean, this thought is so relatable, right? It just feels like the right thing to do. Give our cats a little extra food when it's chilly outside, like we're helping them pack on some winter insulation. But, well, this is exactly where that first big mistake can sneak in.
So on the surface, you see a chubby, happy-looking cat, and you think, awesome, I'm doing a great job. But here's what's really going on, the stuff you can't see. Most indoor cats are way less active in the winter, so they're just not burning as many calories. That extra food, it leads to weight gain, fast, and that puts a ton of strain on their joints, it can cause inflammation, and it just makes them tired.
So the fix here isn't about feeding less, it's about feeding smarter. First up, just keep their portions consistent with how active they actually are. And here's a great little pro tip for you. Try warming up their wet food just to body temperature. It makes it way more appealing, and it's a fantastic way to sneak in some extra hydration. And finally, you gotta be mindful of those treats. Seriously, in the winter, every single calorie counts when it comes to their joint health.
And this whole thing ties right back to their activity level. You know, it's so easy to see your cat just zonked out all day and think, oh, they just need more rest in the winter. But you have to ask yourself this really important question. Are they actually tired, or are they just bored?
You have to remember, deep down, your cat is a hunter. They are literally wired to stalk and chase and pounce. So when their world kind of shrinks during the quiet winter months, that instinct doesn't just go away. It gets bottled up, it gets frustrated, and this isn't just about their mood. Boredom can actually cause their stress hormones to spike, and that can lead to them being irritable or even destructive. They're not being bad, they're just unfulfilled.
And the fix for this is, well, it's beautifully simple. You really don't need to spend hours and hours playing. Nope, just 2 times a day. All it takes is 2 play sessions for about 10 minutes each. That's it. It's so manageable, right? But the impact is absolutely huge. It just goes to show you the power of a small habit. Just 20 minutes of focused play a day is all it takes to satisfy that hunting instinct, bring down their stress levels, and get that feel-good dopamine flowing. It can literally reset their entire physical and mental state.
Okay, so let's shift gears. We've covered food and play, but now let's talk about the environment, your home, because the very place you've worked so hard to make cozy for the winter, it might be hiding a few dangers you haven't thought about.
I mean, we all do this, right? Seal up every last crack and window to keep that precious heat in. The thing is, when we do that, we're also trapping all the stale air inside. And for a cat with their super sensitive respiratory system, that means they're breathing in dust and allergens 24/7. That can make them feel really sluggish and tired, a fatigue that we just write off as winter laziness. The fix? So simple. Just crack a window for a few minutes every day. Let some fresh air in.
Okay, next up, let's talk about the smells of winter. You know, we all love our scented candles and our oil diffusers, but you have to be so careful. A lot of those popular scents, things like pine, cinnamon, eucalyptus, they actually contain compounds that are toxic to cats. Their little bodies just can't process them, and when they breathe them in, it can irritate their lungs and over time even damage their liver.
So how can you tell if your favorite cozy scents are actually causing a problem? You have to become a bit of a detective. Start watching. Are they sneezing more than usual? Are they licking their nose a lot? Have they suddenly stopped hanging out in the living room where you've got that new diffuser running? These little things, they're the only way your cat has to tell you that something is really bothering them.
And the last danger in your cozy home is the heat itself. See, when you crank up the central heating, it creates this incredibly dry air. And that dry air is like a sponge. It just quietly pulls moisture right out of your cat's skin and their lungs.
And this is a huge deal because cats have a really low thirst drive. It's not in their nature to just go drink more water to make up for it.
And that chronic low-level dehydration, it puts a massive, silent strain right on their kidneys. But the good news is you can totally fight back. Just adding a simple humidifier to the main room can make a world of difference. Water fountains are also a game changer. That moving water triggers their instinct to drink. And of course, making warm, wet food a priority over dry kibble is probably one of the easiest ways to boost their water intake every single day.
Okay, this brings us to our final section. And honestly, it might be the most important one of all. We've gone over food, play, and the home environment. Now, let's talk about how you're actually reading your cat's behavior, because this is where it all comes together.
So first, there's a crucial concept you have to get your head around, and it's called pain masking. Think about it. Out in the wild, an animal that shows any weakness becomes a target. So, cats have evolved over thousands of years to become absolute masters at hiding any sign of pain or illness. It's not a choice, it's a deep, hardwired survival instinct.
Okay, so keeping that instinct in mind, let's rethink what we're seeing every day. You know that behavior you've just been calling winter laziness? The fact that your cat is sleeping more, moving a little slower, just seeming kind of tired all the time?
Well, what if I told you that's very often not laziness at all? It is their silent, secret way of managing pain that you can't see. It could be arthritis that's flaring up in the cold weather, or joint stiffness from not moving around enough, or even that low-level kidney strain we talked about from being dehydrated. They don't cry out in pain. They just stop moving as much.
So our job, as their people, is to learn to see the things they're trying so hard to hide. Start looking for these specific red flags. Do they seem a little stiff when they first wake up? Do you see them hesitate for just a second before jumping onto the couch? Have they stopped grooming themselves as carefully as they used to? These aren't just signs of them getting old or being lazy. They are often incredibly subtle signals that they're dealing with underlying pain.
And really, that leaves us with one final powerful question. Your cat is an absolute master of hiding its pain. It's what their instincts tell them to do. The question is,